under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June Commissioners meeting, Belgium Cold Springs. Nice that it finally stopped raining, but it looks like we got more rain in the forecast, so we never had too much. All right, do we have a motion to approve the May meeting minutes? Mike and Mark? Any conversation, any changes, any corrections? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved. Treasurer's report.
I should have a single sheet for the codes. That still has not been integrated into the QuickBooks Online, so it's just a spreadsheet. And I just tried to set it up a little different, the checking on the total all the way to the left, from January to June. In the middle, the savings account, what the balance is over on the right, and then you got to add the New York class amount to that balance. So for the end of May, the balance is in the M&T Bank, $7,148.29, plus $82,599.41 in New York class. We got one code voucher tonight, 49 district vouchers, 12 credit card vouchers, and 3 permissive referendum vouchers. Okay, the district report. First page. About middle of the page, underneath payroll expenses. I still need to fix that under the part-time firefighters. From January to May, the figure is not $24,434. It's a bit higher. Half the year is probably up to like $250,000. And I'll have to get that for you next month. So I did a little different on the format. I included the actual page first here, page 1 and 2, 3. Page 4 is what normally would be our first page, listing all the assets on page 4. Page 5 is the New York class and the M&T accounts. Six is the principal and interest one. Just paid an interest payment of $1,883.25. Page 7, service award account fund. Since we're on the service awards, I'll just mention that we have $149,529 owed to the people taking their award, service award. And we owe into Lincoln $40,800 to pay for the 2004 the people made their points. Overall, there are 19 taken their service award, 10 are rollovers, 4 are leaving it in. And page 8 is the permissive referendums. Pretty much of a change from last month. And 9 through 13 are tonight's vouchers. I think I'm getting the format down on that. There's still a few out of order, and I'll get them in the right place. For instance, on page 9, middle of the page, it has buildings. That should be further on down, but we'll fix that another month. On page 10 is one correction, or an addition, I should say, 3/4 of the way down, under training. There's 3 items, one for mileage to take a BFO training, one for a seminar at Lake George, and the other one says only. That's only the mileage to Hammondsport. I don't know why the rest didn't. You'll see in tonight's vouchers, there were 10 individuals that got their firefighters exemption that had a difficulty or a problem with the town giving them that exemption.
What was us? The town said they didn't get the paperwork for them to get the exemption. So when we straightened that out, we now owe them their exemption.
So we have,
We turned it into them, basically.
there's a Hills bill, someone needs the check back from 2024 December. It was the one we questioned about the switch being off. That's in there just to make sure they've got a new voucher and they took some money off of that. I want to see, make sure it's reached your approval before I pay it.
We'll look at it.
The audit is finished. The final report is in the mail, I've been told, from the auditor, and I'll put it in their mailbox when it comes in. So far, they found no material weakness. Yep, that's a good thing. They have noted one item, and that, I believe, let's get in there. We've got one item that says draft across it. They noted that our unassigned fund balance, which is $54,815. That's what they're talking about here. And we noted that it appears low. We recommend that the above item be reviewed and any necessary corrective action taken. That's the money at the end of the year that we had nothing, no earmarks for it. That was just extra money, we put that in reserve. We actually had more money. $55,000 went into the New York State Retirement to create that fund. $50 went into what was added to the fund balance started in 2024. So we actually ended up with more money. But after they take all that out, the auditor says we only had $54,800 that was unassigned.
And that really kind of goes along with what the comptroller says, because the comptroller says you should have, you know, what do they say?
10%.
We're not carrying that much.
No.
But we're working on it.
We're building up that fund balance.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, And then if I keep going here, that's QuickBooks Online is coming along. You'll notice that one of the places here, I think, was it the vouchers? That the taxes, Social Security, Medicare, the reemployment, unemployment tax, all of those say zero. They've all been paid. That just hasn't been, what do you want to call it, synced with the QuickBooks Online. Kind of like a nightmare from last year. I could never get the payroll right. But it is coming. It's coming. And that's all I have tonight.
Okay, any questions for Bill? No? Do we have a motion to approve the budget as provided by? Mike? Kit? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Who's second of the motion?
Kit? So moved, carried. Thank you. Looks like, Mike, sure you have bank statements tonight? You have a motion to approve and Mike approves them?
You need to do the vouchers. Approve the
Boy,
vouchers.
how did I miss that? Do we have a motion to approve the vouchers? Kit. Okay. And Mike Malone. Got Mike Malone to sign. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Thank you. Now we can get to the bank statements. Do we have a motion for that? Well, let's move on. Do we have any permissive referendums that we need to put about?
And one that's down to like $1,200.
I did that. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, that's why I always like this one.
Didn't we decide last month to drop number 4?
I don't know.
If we give them, we certainly can.
Yeah, I don't think, but, so let's close out number 4.
Number 4, no, maybe. Number 4, at the top,
No, yes, the purchase of the rescue.
so $11,000.
And number 3 probably will also, right?
Yeah, we all set with the truck. Yes. And number 3.
3, 2,
4, 3.
and number 2?
No.
No? Okay, that's what we got. Okay.
Guess what number 2?
Yeah, 4, 3.
Just 4 and 3, right?
4, 3. Okay. Yes, sir.
Also, just tell me when if you find a category or you see something, I should have marked a different category, like especially the trips you went on for the seminar.
Right,
I put everything under convention.
right. We had, what did we change that to? We changed that to, training or something.
It's a professional development. almost.
Yeah, professional
But I
development.
don't know which we had more in for travel.
Yeah, I thought we changed that to professional development. Okay, correspondence?
We got our annual letter from Excelis that they're proposing an increase of 17.5% if approved. But the Department of, or the Insurance Department has to review that. The New York State Department of Financial Services has to approve premiums, and so that's the highest it could be. It's usually not that high. I have sent some information to Kit. We are looking at some other options, possibly entering into a consortium. Nice Mac electricity, natural gas, that's a current consortium that we're already in. They're requesting resolutions for participation as part of their annual bid cycle. Submit them by August. And it's just essentially a resolution saying that we want to be part of this process and we want to continue to be in the consortium. We've seen significant savings there as well, and that I did add under new business if we want to consider it. And then the 2025 Association of Fire Districts of the State of New York annual meeting and vendor expo is October 2nd through 4th in Saratoga. And the registrations are open, so if there's any commissioners or district officers that would like to attend, let me know so we can get you registered. Everon has increased the price of, I think it's our monitoring. It's a price increase of $2.47. And then we got correspondence from Fire Districts Mutual with some safety bulletins to post in the stations regarding hydration and safely getting on and off the trucks, and some information to add into training. And that information's been shared with the chiefs as well. And that's all I had for correspondence.
Good, thank you.
The State Association annual meeting, October 2nd through 4th. Registrations are coming very quickly on the road, and probably the host hotel is full. If you make your decision soon, might be able to get you into the host hotel, but it would have to be quick.
Very good. Chief's report?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So for personnel, we're working with the committee to complete and submit the documentation to civil service for the CRR specialist. And we're trying to confirm the roster and increase the number of positions. For apparatus, we need to make a determination on ladder 1. That way we can kind of cascade into what we want to do with the rest of the apparatus plan. So I'm not sure if that's something, if you have any questions on that, but I can try to answer for you, or...
No, we're going to be discussing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Surplus and disposal, you see those fluid things the Chief Police put down. We're going to do our due diligence and make sure we can get anything we can out that has any value, and then anything that eligible once approved we can dispose of. Then looking to add a couple of equipment items for the new engine 21. Chief Police shared the combi tool we were looking at. There's a sale on that through the end of July. Mobile radio, knock spot prevention system, and some miscellaneous equipment. met with the town of Lysander chiefs, and we're working on a response order guide. Before it goes into effect, to let everybody know the work in progress. The host standardization, we're doing host testing on July 9th. So after host testing, we're going to go live with the new standardization. We received the 1,400 feet of 4-inch. And no big updates on the policies. Kind of some of that ties back to the apparatus plan and stuff like that.
Okay, so we have a list of items here for surplus and disposal. Legally, I'm not sure if we have to go through and itemize each one. I know that we do have to inventory everything, so they should be pulled off of inventory and removed from that.
But that doesn't have to be done in the motion, it can just be as listed, or you can list it in the motion. But yeah, we're gonna inventory everything
Okay.
and remove it.
So do we have a motion to go ahead and surplus and dispose of as however sees fit the listed items here? Mark shook his head yes. Mike seconds. Any further discussion on the items?
The only discussion I have, and this is the first time in 4 years they've got rid of a huge group, but it's just like Mark selling the fire trucks. You know, the department used the equipment, the departments used the fire trucks. When they're done with it, they give it back to the commissioners to sell. Mark's selling the fire trucks, and whoever has our equipment should probably be selling those. Frees up your hands. You got use of it, but it's just, so whoever has equipment for us should be selling it, or advertising it, or whatever. But I still second it.
What does that mean now?
I don't.
Let's say this was a fire truck.
Correct.
They're done, the fire department's done using it. They give it back to the commissioners because they own it, and the commissioners can sell it once we've declared it surplus. They're out of the selling business. So the commissioners sell it. Just like Mark is with the apparatus, that's all. Just smaller equipment.
Right. Correct. Okay. So they are in the process of assembling a lot of other pieces and parts and stuff that is deemed no longer necessary for the operation. So, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? So moved. Thank you. Mr. Chieftain Foley, do you have a report for us tonight?
I gave you plenty on the first one. We're good.
Are we on hold for the other equipment, the 21 stuff? Because that wasn't part of the surplus.
Correct, that's an addition, so I don't know if that's something you want to tackle in the, under the apparatus committee, or if we want to.
It was something that it's under new truck committee, because that's something that we could take out of, we could add it to the permissive referendum to go along with the purchase of the apparatus. So we can lump it all in together, do a permissive referendum to add an additional 50,000 in case there's any change orders, and also to purchase that equipment. And you can put it all in one permissive referendum. It's one legal notice, one deal, and that gives you the flexibility both for the equipment and if there's any change orders. Because right now we're maxed out at the original permissive referendum. So you could do it in that
So
and
just
make a
add
motion to buy that
the extra
equipment.
50,000 to the new purchase? Okay.
And approve, and I guess make the motion to buy that equipment, and then also do the permissive referendum and to buy it out of the purchase of the apparatus.
Okay. Mark, would you like to make that motion?
I'll make a motion that we add the 50,000 to the current engine 21 referendum, or the bill to carry over for extra expense for foreseen tools and equipment, and any extra change orders.
Do you have any change orders yet?
The only change order that's been on the truck recently is a $900 one recently for The placard on the side of the truck. That's it.
Oh, I don't
That was
have
not on the original specs for engine 11. So when that truck got to Buffalo, that's when they noticed it and they added that on.
So the slide-ins?
Yeah, the slide-in drop-ins, those were not on the original specs. So that was the only thing that's come up. But any other change orders and all, nothing.
There were 2 that Diane signed.
Well, that was back, that was back.
That was back.
Right.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we're already over the original, we're already at the 910.
Right, right
And that was
now,
the original permissive.
I have a email into Colden to actually break down the expenses so far, what we've given them, what we paid, the cost of the truck and everything else, see, correspond his billing to our billing and see what we have. I put that out to him this morning. I talked to him Friday about it, so he's gonna work on that so we can cross-reference our bills to his bills and everything else.
So, question for you on the mobile radio.
Yep.
Once you sell 2 of these vehicles,
Yep,
you have 2 radios that are going to be sitting on a shelf
correct,
that are equal to everything else we have.
correct.
Why don't you put one of those in?
We could, But I
I think
think-
they're gonna be obsolete.
right, I think they,
Unfortunately, they don't make parts for them anymore.
right, the chiefs were talking about the county's updating their radio system, and that's what they were looking at for the new mobile radio.
When those were purchased, they were either 2008 or 2012 radios. They're already old. They could last you another 20 years, 25 years.
Absolutely.
Why not run them until, I mean, you've got 2 of them you're going to have sitting on a shelf,
You might have 3,
and possibly a 3rd one coming.
right?
You could probably, because you're not going to, I think the original purchase of all those radios was around 160,000. You'd stay consistent if you just use one of these. If it craps out, you take the other one, put it in there, that craps out. If anything would sell in these vehicles,
We had abundance.
since we have no parts out there,
Right.
you got 3 good
No,
radios.
absolutely, you got abundance of extra stuff.
But you're starting a new shelf life when you buy a totally different radio. Listening to some things recently, we're having trouble with channel 1, channel 3, channel 5, and switching between them. Let's not get another radio in there that's going to be more complicated for our people.
Okay, do we have a second on that?
So I think
motion?
my motion is to remove the radio.
Okay.
Okay?
You didn't,
So the
so
motion was,
you made the motion to add to the permissive referendum to purchase the equipment,
Up to $50,000.
up to $50,000.
Yes.
You need to do a separate motion for the specific equipment. Because the resolution is
Okay.
not gonna name the specific equipment, it's gonna say to add to the referendum and purchase equipment.
okay.
Because then it doesn't limit you, if something comes up after we get it and we need to buy equipment, you can approve it then, the permissive referendum's done. If you want to address specific equipment, do that as a separate motion. The radio, the mobile radio is $3,500. I believe from the discussion that I remember with it is, even if we take them out and put them in, we still have a cost to do so. The vendor's gonna have to pay to do that. With the ability with parts and things like that, we're actually gonna have to look soon at replacing all the mobile radios. This would be the first step in that process. So I don't know if putting it off is really the right direction to go with it.
But if we're going to hypothetically buy all new radios in 3 years, this one that we're gonna buy tomorrow, this is not gonna be the one you're buying in 3
It's
years.
not gonna be 3 years, it's gonna be less than that.
So you're gonna have still a totally different radio than what you're gonna do if you're replacing all of them again.
I would think
Either
it
I
all
pay,
work
we
very
pay the
similar.
$3,500 up front now, or what's the cost gonna be in a year or 2 years down the road, the price of that radio is gonna go up.
So let's, hold on one second. We got a motion for the 50,000.
Yes,
Let's get a second. Let's move on to the discussion with the equipment.
okay.
Do we have a second on the motion for the additional
I
50,000?
second.
Okay. Any further discussion on just the money amount? No, all in favor? Opposed? So moved. Now, the equipment, you bring up a good point, Mike. And I agree with you that we need to, if we got the radios, we might as well put it in. Yes, there's going to be a fee to put it in one way or the other, but let's let the chief, let them figure it out. You know, let's go with what their recommendation is.
So can we add to the surplus the other 2 or 3 radios to sell to get the $3,500 to have this one? And when these crap out, you're gonna spend more money.
We did that last month to sell some portables.
We bought 30 radios in 22. When was the referendum?
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought everything back then.
30 radios.
Those were portable radios.
Those are portable,
Not
not
mobile.
mobile.
They weren't the ones in the trucks, they're portable radios.
Okay. That was your report. Thank you.
So as for the Knox box, I think we need, because we originally started off with 1 at each station and slowly increasing those. Hydrant bags, you know, probably the other ones are rotted. Combi tool, it was decided last year, right at the April meeting, there weren't going to be any other tools purchased for 21 when it came in, because we were spending 50 grand at that point buying all new Maltros for 11. And everything that is on Rescue 2 is state of the art.
So we reviewed the combi tool on Rescue 2 with the vendor. The combi tool that's on Rescue 2 originally was hydraulic, and it's from 2004. They upgraded it about 10 years ago to battery. So it's pretty outdated in today's technology. So if we upgraded to this new combi tool, it'd be compatible with the new stuff you guys bought last year for engine 11. Same battery complement, will operate the same. I wasn't here last year, so I'm just kind of...
Just because we had spent 50 grand all at once, because we had gone from a hard line to a battery operated system, it was a large expense. And we knew right away that Station 2 would say, well, we want new ones too. And now we're there.
It's one tool, right?
Yeah, I don't
It's a combination.
Well, it depends.
Yeah.
We have 2 different quotes, 2 different options that he provided.
Yeah, we're just proposing just the combi tool. I know.
Combi, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
He sent, I think he also sent,
Yeah, he sent one, a heavy rescue total
Yeah.
package,
so we're just,
Yeah.
I
so
don't-
just a combi.
to my knowledge, I don't even think Station 2 brought it up, but no, we brought it up.
Yeah.
So just trying to stay current with technology.
And the nice thing with that would be all our tools would all have the universal battery, so we can switch between whoever needs.
Also fit in the spot.
Yep.
Brackets, the holders where it goes.
They don't make them for the others?
Well, when we put those new tools in, there was difficulty getting the bins to line up. We had to relocate the cabinets and fix everything. So one of our goals as a chief is to standardize all the apparatus so that the things go in the same places on different apparatus.
But when those vehicles were spec'd, they were the same bodies, but they're not carrying 100% the same stuff.
Right, they're just tool-wise and stuff like that.
Part of that is tools.
Right. But the matching of the tools would match the holders, would match the...
Part of that is not matching the tools. You always had a heavy rescue here, chief, and you had a mini rescue over there.
Correct.
What you're trying to do is make it matching rescues. You don't have the response from personnel to get here, to take out the vehicles. Right? How's your numbers coming to alarms?
Okay, let's get back to, thank you on your report. Assistant Chief Melchior, training update.
So getting right now into this time of year, we're going to go more into scenario-based training for the drill nights. We introducing the skill sheets to the different members and different types of members that we have. We're also doing some combination medical and fire drills together, so we EMS and fire together at the same time. A couple of different things to make you guys aware of. I would love to see all of you guys back here in 24 hours with a partner and bring a friend, because we're going to be doing the cancer awareness from the state. It's an eye-opening information, and especially for all the decision makers in the room, to be aware of what's going on out there and some of the conversations we've had in this room in the past. This is some of the newest technology and newest statistics out there about what's going on with the cancer. So if you can, tomorrow night, right here, 7 o'clock. For you also, for the commissioners, we've assigned EVOC training to all of our members that are drivers. It's in McNeil, and we're encouraging everybody to get their modules completed and done, and then that we can start working on that for drivers. That way we can ensure that they're aware of what is out there for McNeil and the requirements for McNeil. Another piece of that too is, just so you guys know, about a third of our members are not participating in drills and trainings right now. So you guys should be aware that I know you guys had a member review, but about a third of them we've not seen much of this year for coming to drills and coming to trainings. So, but the good news is 2/3 have, and we've seen some actual better responses on alarms due to the fact that we're training and get a little more aware of what our responsibilities are and our roles are out there and when we respond. And that's what I got for you guys for the training.
So the EVOC for drivers, is that all drivers, or is that all drivers who haven't had EVOC recently? How's that work?
So I talked to, when I was at the chief show, I spoke to McNeil again, and they recommend every couple of years to have everybody go back through, and we don't really have a cycle started up right now when that happens. So I'm trying to get us back into the flow. We can say everybody saw it this year, and we're getting the newest things that are out there from McNeil, and they agree with that. So we're going to work on getting this modules done, and then we're going to go to the skills part of that next for the driver training for EVOC also. So we can say in 2025 we've got a base for everybody that's completed it.
Is that a hands-on or just a video webinar type thing?
This first portion is just the webinars and the videos, and then later on this year we'll go into the skills part.
Okay, any more questions for Chief Melchior? Okay, let's move on to committee reports. Long-term planning, Mike?
Nothing so far, but I plan on having a meeting later this month. No date as of yet.
Okay.
How did your seminar go?
My seminar?
Well, the seminar you attended.
Conference you went to.
So the seminar, the conference that the chief and myself went to a couple of weeks ago was very enlightening. Made a lot of contacts, talked with a lot of people, toured 2 firehouses out there. And again, we were out in Arizona. While the weather was 55 and rainy here, it was 101 at 7 o'clock and brown. There's no grass out there. It's just brown desert. Did learn a lot of stuff, took in a lot of information, made contacts, already had communication back and forth with people. I know that the chief has already had communication with people. And again, the same thing with the chief show. I know that we were both down there for that. He was there the day before I was there, the chief, and again discussed with multiple people our plans as to what we're doing here in the future, what we're trying to figure out what we're doing. So I know that it was a little overwhelming. He was a little overwhelmed with all the information and everything. First time that he's been to something like that. So it's just, it was a good thing. All in all, it was very good. We sat at the very back of the plane, which was great. Back of the plane, yep. The last one's on, the last one's off. But other than that, it was fine. It was fine. There was one seat behind us.
That's the bathroom.
Is that what that was? New truck committee.
All right, for the new truck committee, our tickets have been reserved. That fee I forwarded on to Bill, Charlie, and Amy. $3572.61 for the airfare.
I think that was, because Steve's information was there too.
Yeah.
So I think that total was all three of you. We don't pay his, I don't think. We just pay ours.
I would have to look in our contract.
We don't pay his.
Okay. So then I will get him to break it down even better, so we'll be at it cheaper. I will contact him tomorrow.
Unless that was just, I don't know, but his flight numbers were in that email.
Right, right. I will confirm with him tomorrow, send you an updated price on this, so then we will be looking less than $3,500 when we take Steve off of this. Flights are booked.
I recommend the back seat.
Snow flight.
I don't
Thanks.
book those, Holden knows.
So we are all set for that part. Again, what else do we have on it? We just took care of the referendum, raised the $50,000 to cover the extra cost. Let's get on to, well, that's new truck business. So that's all I have on new truck. If you want to get into the other portion of truck apparatus, we can do that right now.
I'm confused on the equipment. Because there was discussion and there was, let's go with what the chief said, my notes are a little wonky, but are we buying the equipment as recommended, are we not? I guess where are we with that? Because I'm confused with that discussion and where it went.
So the discussion where that went didn't go anywhere, really. Can we rewind that real quick? We had a lot of discussion about as to should we buy new radios, why should we buy a new radio, the combi tool, should we buy a new combi tool, and I believe the answer was yes on all of that.
Okay, so are you gonna make a motion to buy the things as recommended by the chief? Because some of that, I guess what I'm asking is, my understanding is the combi tool was on sale during the chief show.
Yeah.
And they're gonna honor that price, through the end of June?
Until the end of July.
End of July.
Yep.
The mobile radio, I think it's gonna take a few weeks to get in, and that's all stuff that we can have them mount it not when they go out, but when they bring it back here before we take delivery on it. That if we don't order them soon, then the mounting and that won't happen when we take delivery on it, right?
Correct.
Okay,
Are we also, what are we going to be doing about the MDT?
that's a whole separate.
Are we updating those eventually?
That's on the radar.
Okay.
Getting two vendors to come talk to us. So.
Okay.
Well, I think we're meeting with
And
them
then-
this week.
And also in your equipment, the antennas, the wiring and all that we're going to need for the MDT and the new radio, we got to get those ahead of time.
So the radio will come with it all.
Right, but
Yeah.
last time, I believe in engine 11, we had an issue with the mount or something with a plug that was on the end of the antenna. They had to put a different one in, if I recall.
I don't remember, but I think that was all part of the discussion. I don't know.
And I
Okay.
think on engine 11, that was already pre-wired before you took delivery.
Okay. All right.
So all they had to do was
Just
plug it in.
Plug it in, plug and play.
And that's where I was saying with these transferring of radios.
Right.
You're just plugging them in.
Okay, yeah. All right.
So it kind of makes sense to go with the new radio if we're going to eventually have to change it anyways, because chances are that the wiring is going to be different on it, so.
But you're going to have to.
What's the
50 includes the equipment.
Right.
Yes.
This 50 that's on here includes that additional 50 that they needed?
No, the 50 is going on it. and
The
that
equipment
takes
isn't
this
gonna
out.
be all the 50.
Right.
So the 50 includes any change orders and the equipment.
Right.
For the original 50,
Yeah.
how did you get that jacked up so well?
What original 50? I did.
You wanted more
Don't
money
expect that
for
we'll go to the
I
50.
didn't.
Oh, no idea.
Yeah.
My question before the siren took off is when you're talking about the wiring, it may be pre-wired for the old radio.
Right,
So they're gonna have to rip that out and change it
right.
to whatever the new is.
Right.
So you'll get that with United Radio.
So I can tell you from my experience, the antenna is universal, and the power cord so far is universal. I've just done a couple self-installs. But obviously somebody has to get it from the roof down and then the power source so it's done safely.
So is that something that we should probably take out to them when we go out in July?
I've had that conversation with Bolden and see if they want to do it at the factory, if they want to do it in Buffalo.
Okay. I'll ask that question when I contact them tomorrow.
Is that extra?
Consultant talk, yeah.
Any more questions on that? So, yes to the equipment is what we said.
Okay. Are you making that motion?
I'll make the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Mark?
And that,
Mike, I'm sorry.
that motion was out of the permissive referendum.
To purchase these out of the additional 50 that
Yes.
they're asking for.
Okay.
Did they say what that combo was gonna cost?
15. It's not even-
$14,846.
Yeah, books for 20 and a half or something like that if it wasn't on sale.
And then there's a sale of the old stuff too, so we may recoup a couple dollars back from that. So, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. Thank you.
Would you like me to continue on with, while we're on the new truck, I can go about the old trucks in front of everybody. I made up a little spreadsheet regarding the sale prices of the consideration of Rescue 2, Engine 21, and Ladder 1. You all see the prices there listed in front of you between the three vendors, the appraisals that I received back. On the far right side is what we would agree on, and then I would contact and sign the contracts and tell them to list them for those prices. So I bring to you these price quotes, and whatever our recommendation is, that's what I will call and set them at. As you can see, the 94 Salisbury current engine 21, you got prices ranging from $15,000 to $30,000. That's the ballpark there, whatever you would like to set the price on that. We can go high and always work our way down lower. And if we don't get any response, if a couple of month or two down the road I don't get any response, I come back, say, okay, we got 0, what would you like to do? We can always lower it. So whatever you like to set the current 21 at.
How about 25?
25? I can agree with that. Everybody else agree on that?
Yep.
25,000 would be.
Got to start someplace.
Yep.
And I'll move to the next one after you've already got the first one.
Yep.
For the Rescue 2 and Ladder 1, looking at the spectrum of the prices,
Yep.
I think the garage fire apparatuses, their high values on both of those are reasonable, and I would, as you said, start there
Yeah.
at the high.
Yeah.
So I'm going to recommend those two, the 75 for the Rescue 2 and the 595 for the Ladder 1.
How much was it for ladder 1?
For ladder 1, what?
595.
Okay.
595.
The air conditioner.
Well, I don't think we decided to sell ladder 1. one.
Well, you can't yet.
We can't
Not until
yet
we pay.
because we've got to do that.
It has to go to a public vote.
So
Yeah.
we'll hold off on ladder one.
Yeah.
I'll hold off on listing ladder one.
Can I change my motion?
Absolutely.
I'm going to put a little addition in there, pending the sale of ladder one at that meeting.
Pending the public referendum?
Yes.
Okay.
If that happens before the next meeting,
It won't happen before the next meeting.
okay.
It can't. It has to be, we have to have so many days. But you guys have to still make that motion to do that. So it would be pending. You don't have to put a date in it, but once the public referendum passes, you can list it at that amount. That way you don't have to wait for a meeting.
Yeah, because that would take us 2 months.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so
do
right
that
now,
and then the day after the public.
yep, so right now, we've agreed at 25,000 for current 21 and 75,000 for rescue 2. Those are what we agreed on, and I'm holding off on ladder 1 at sale price of $595. We're holding on that until afterwards.
It's a heck of a deal.
And it is, for what they're going for now.
Yes.
So you can do that the day after if we get the public's approval.
Okay,
Great.
today's the 16th.
All right.
So to sell Rescue 2 and Engine 11,
Yep.
if we're going to sell them for over $20,000, we need to do a permissive referendum. So we need to do that.
Did you just make that motion?
Yep.
And who seconded? Mike seconded?
Like,
Sure.
you can't just say Mike.
Too much.
Why not?
So now do I have to wait to make the call to advertise these or wait till that permissive
I
referendum goes
think you can
through?
make the call, it's just that if we can't really sign the papers until the 30 days is up.
Right.
But I
To
think
sell
we should
it,
get them
yeah.
listed.
You could list it pending the permissive referendum.
Yeah.
So that's all.
I mean, it's gonna take a week or, I
For
mean,
them to
unless you.
process everything.
Yeah, we'll
Right.
have to get the write-up, get the pictures.
They all have all that.
Oh, okay.
That's all done, they have pictures, they have the write-up. That's how I got my appraisals. So all they were waiting for was me to sign the contract, send that back to them.
And most of them have to go through just what we would have to do, bring it to a meeting, approve it.
Okay.
Then, you know,
Yep.
the meeting could be a month away, so
Okay.
we're still, you could have it sold tomorrow, but it's still 2 months before you deliver.
Right, and also the contingency on these are also, we talked about not delivering them until engine 21 goes in service? Correct. Okay.
Okay. So we had discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? So moved. All right.
So if we're talking about ladder 1 still,
Yep.
in order to redeem the bonds for ladder 1, which we voted to do last month. The problem is, if we want that money to come from the apparatus reserve, we have to do a permissive referendum to take that money out of the apparatus reserve to redeem the bonds.
Okay.
So I'll make that motion.
Yeah, and Mike Chur seconds it. Any further discussion on that? All in favor? Aye.
This all gets complicated.
Yes, it does. Any objections? And any abstentions? So moved.
Then,
We got a resolution now.
resolution, if we want to sell ladder 1, we will probably get more than $100,000 for it, and if we do, we have to have a special election or a referendum to allow us to sell it. So I make that motion.
Yeah, Mike Chur seconds it. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? So moved.
Okay, to do that though, so to do the mandatory referendum, Where is that money gonna go when you sell it? There's been some discussion of using that money to offset equipment, to offset other apparatus. I don't know if you can split it to go into just either reserve fund, depending on the needs of the district. Because we have, when we put it to vote, this is the resolution that they're voting on.
I'd say it goes into the apparatus fund.
But what if we need to buy SCBA? I mean, in theory, we're not probably buying a lot of apparatus. I don't know the apparatus replacement plan, but at this point, I think we're getting rid of more than we're buying.
And the big ones have been purchased.
And the big ones have been purchased, so does it make sense to put it into apparatus? Or should we put it to equipment or capital reserve? I think we've got a ton of money in capital reserve.
Well, I don't think it's a
What are we
huge
doing
problem.
with that?
Oh, excuse me. I don't think it's a huge problem to transfer money from one reserve to the other.
Okay.
If we needed to, I mean, it makes sense. We sell an apparatus to put the money in the apparatus.
But you're selling apparatus that you don't need
Right.
because we don't have the people, the writing positions, whatever. So does it make sense to put it into apparatus? Or does it make sense to put it into equipment to replace aging equipment? It's all in how we write up the resolution.
Equipment.
Bill, what do you think?
If you can move it, I don't know what restrictions are.
Yeah.
I put in the equipment, you got over $1 million in the apparatus.
Oh, we won't have once we buy
Once you-
the truck, but.
Yeah. When's your next one on the next schedule?
There's nothing big on it.
There's nothing big
It's all
coming
fairly
up. I mean,
self-explanatory.
that's why we're selling it.
So then it's locked into that, yeah.
Put the money that's coming in from the sale of engine 21 and the rescue into apparatus, and then put the rest into equipment, because the SCBA's are overdue for
And
replacement.
essentially, selling ladder one could potentially pay for the replacement of the SCBA.
Okay, sounds good.
So is that what you want, we would like the resolution to read? That's what
Yes.
you just said, right?
Into equipment,
Okay.
thank you.
It's just waiting for somebody to go 50-50 and then it would have been split.
I, also to hold a special election, I need to have approval of an election board. So I need a resolution to approve the election board for the special election for ladder one. And I'm just gonna list a bunch of names because I don't know the date yet, so I have to see who's available, but people we've used in the past would be Mike and Linda Williamson, Dorothy Dwyer, Dave Speech, Lynn Tanner, Terry Massaro. It would be, what is it, 4 people that minimum that I have to have. It wouldn't be all of them, but any of them that would be available is who I would use.
We didn't do that at the organizational meeting? I make the motion to approve the Board of Elections
List.
the names that Amy has just read.
Yeah, Mike, you're a
I know
second.
Charlie was looking this way. I knew Charlie was looking this way, I didn't have to look up.
Okay, any discussion on that? No? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? So moved.
And how, I guess, to set the date, how soon are we looking to do that? The earliest date that we could do would be July 29th. And it has to be a Tuesday. So we could do July 29th, or we could do one of the first couple Tuesdays in August.
July
Just how soon
29th
do we
works
want
for
to do
me.
that? Or we could go in later to, do August August 5th.
29th works, it doesn't matter. 29th or the 5th, either or, so see what people are available, and then we'll set the dates for that. So either one of the dates is fine.
So set it for either July 29th or August 5th, depending on availability?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Anything else on that?
Should we go back to apparatus again real quick from the chiefs?
No, we're done. Yes.
So now, we'd like to move Rescue 2 to headquarters as is, so we can inventory the equipment. Just looking for permission to do that.
Where do you want to put where are you going to put some of the tools that are on Rescue 2?
We want to get a full inventory, and then if we'll surplus or get a pile together for anything that we deem is not, doesn't have any value, and anything that's still good, we can identify to go to engine 21 or the truck or wherever it needs to go based on the operational need.
Because I thought when we were selling this stuff, that with those vehicles would stay in service until the new engine arrives. Because right now, if you take the tools off of Rescue 2 and any of the shoring, there is absolutely no room on 21 for really anything on that truck. It is maxed out. I know you guys want to go through stuff and try to downsize stuff, which is good, but right now, there's no room to even transfer anything from Rescue to 21.
Okay. I defer to you guys. If that was the original plan, then.
Right.
And then with that, Chief Police would like to move the brush truck to Station 1. And once ladder 1 is sold and off property, we're gonna move the Explorer to Station 1 as a squad only vehicle, because Squad 1 will become Light Rescue 1, as will Squad 2 will become Light Rescue 2. That'll give us the ability to complement the engine. If the engine's already out on a call, somebody can take Light Rescue 1, which will have a couple air packs and hand tools like it is currently. And then that still leaves a squad vehicle for EMS runs for our EMS only folks that come down after the fact.
So,
How's that panning out here? You're taking the old Explorer
Yes, sir.
and putting it here.
Yeah, once ladder 1 is sold and gone, the Explorer will come down here and be a squad only vehicle for EMS. The current pickup truck will become Light Rescue 1 or something of that effect, because of the new county typing and tasking in the CAD. So they'll have air packs, hand tools, so that can complement the engine if the engine's out before anybody else shows up.
So they'll stay the way they are.
Yes, sir, just a couple different namings.
Yeah. And what we used to have is the flat car will be coming back and be
Yes, sir.
the first anyway.
We'll try that. I know you guys tried that before. We're just gonna, being that we're losing some vehicles down here, we'll try it. Doesn't owe us anything at this point. If it doesn't work, we can reevaluate with you guys and determine a path for the future.
so going back to M1 being moved over, which is fine, but are we going to be purchasing any type of lighting for the squad and towing the trailer for the gator? Because at nighttime, I have no lights. With Rescue 2, we had the LED lights towing the trailer, and we had our packs and everything else with us, which Squad 2 does have. But I have 0 scene lights at nighttime.
I know Chief Police would we're evaluating the next step in the vehicle replacement plan for the squads. But in the short term, that's something, if you want to pose that question to him, and we can evaluate that.
Yeah, I think before we take the Rescue completely out of service, that we need to buy some portable lights or something for the squad to offset for the lighting and all that.
That's a fair question, so I'm not.
Yep, yeah. Yep.
Anything else?
I'm good, thank you.
All right. Lysander Public Safety. Well, as Chief Melchior said, tomorrow is the meeting. It's going to be right here, 7 p.m. Cancer awareness, we have a state instructor coming in, so there will be some certificates offered for it.
Is that the
It's a
state cancer awareness class or something different?
It is a state cancer awareness class, yes. So it is something that we as officers have discussed. I know that we've had discussion as commissioners also, that it is something that's very important. And Chief Melchior felt that it was important to bring it here as part of the, I know that License under Public Safety, we had discussed this, and they were very eager to come, so we'll see how the turnout is. I know that emails were sent out, so hopefully it'll be standing room only, and it should be a good evening. Again, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, right here. And you're all welcome. Please come.
I'll be here.
Okay. You can come also. Let's see, what have we got here? Budget and Finance, Kit?
Well, the time frame for next year's budget has been sent out, and Bill's going to have his reports to us soon, so we'll start having some meetings soon.
Good. Look forward to that.
You look forward to more meetings.
I look forward to more meetings, yes. Thank you. IT Committee, I know that last month there was a question that arose from the public. I don't have an answer for you yet. I'll get you an answer. What else have we got? Personnel?
I've got a couple of things here. We received a resignation from our caretaker, resigning his position effective June 20th, which is Friday. Personnel Committee met and recommends at this time that we delay a decision on possible replacement while we secure RFPs for grounds work, which would be snow plowing and mowing, and would work with building and grounds on those RFPs. So we have all the information, so we can make a decision with all the information. The most urgent need right now is mowing, and we may need to hire a qualified individual hourly to do lawns before we get the RFPs back and make a final decision. And we need to address what paid staff can do. We're not in the same position we were in 2 years ago when we hired a caretaker. So it's all going to hinge somewhat on what the RFPs come back at.
So the RFPs are for lawn and snow.
Right.
Okay. And there's a lot of other, I'll call them things, that have historically been done by the caretakers.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we are all aware of what those other things are, that when something happens and your phone rings because toilet's backed up or something like that,
It all,
ceilings leaking.
it all fits in
Fire alarm system goes
with,
up.
the whole package, and our decision about, okay, do we want to continue with a full-time caretaker? Do we want a part-time caretaker? Do we want no caretaker? We need to have decision information to make that decision. So we're recommending that we don't make a decision tonight. Hopefully we would have enough information by next meeting to make a decision at that point.
So between now and that next meeting,
The grass is going to be pretty long out there.
And we may have to hire some qualified person to hourly to mow lawns.
Again, I mean, that's a question of what can we have our paid staff end up helping out with as they're here.
Yeah, and we talked about that somewhat, and they can, and I think are willing to help out in that area, but will they be able to, mow all the lawns?
No,
I don't know.
right, and that's, you got a whole week to do 3 different properties.
What's that?
We got a whole week to do the whole 3 different properties, and you got 24/7 of people doing shifts. So it's a potential that we have.
Sure,
That they could help out.
yeah,
If the current caretaker now just needs to show the chiefs on how to operate the mower that we have, so then they can, in turn, if someone shows interest and wants to help cut, they know how, general idea how to use the equipment.
Okay.
so that's the first thing we have. The second thing is the CRR position. Deputy Chief Natoli kind of said the same thing I was going to say, is that work continues with the position description with civil service, and so that's a work in process. And regarding the 3rd firefighter per shift, which we have talked about at meetings, the chiefs are discussing that at length. The present thought, and this is not anything definite, but the present thought would be to try to implement this at the beginning of the 4th quarter in 2025. It's going to be data-driven decision, and it's going to be financially driven decision.
My question with that, with the 3rd person, is currently we have 2 people. There's a lot of blanks out there. There's a lot of open shifts where there's 0 people here or 1 person here. And again, there's notification is hit and miss. So notification of no coverage is hit and miss. We've had calls the other day where, volunteers all show up, and that's a good thing. They respond relatively quick, but that notification is not being sent out there. We had talked about it at, I think, the past 3 commissioner meetings. It was brought up that when there's nobody else on after your shift, send out that notification that, hey, there's no coverage, or that there's just 1 person here. So to have 3 come, and you could look at this both ways, to have 3 staff, we're having trouble with 2 staff. Is it going to be easier with 3? So.
Well, we did
again,
fill it up, so we're up to the 25. We've got those 2 last positions filled. We have approval for 5 more. We haven't decided, we haven't been told, personnel has not been told to go ahead and interview and hire 5 more.
Okay.
Who has to tell you we approved it? That's the board.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm on the edge of saying, are we supposed to interview and hire, or are we just kind of sitting there with approval for 5?
Well, the one question that was brought up before was, we have 25 staff, and as Charlie just stated, we can't even fill shifts. So if we put on another 5, so now we're going to be up to 30, we still can't fill the shifts.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, with 25, there'll be empty shifts or 1 person on per shift.
But with 30, we might fill every shift.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So let's move with that.
Right.
We approve that, let's move with it.
So you want
And I'm a little
personnel?
concerned, because I'm going to follow with Charlie here. For 2 years, this board's approved it, then you've interviewed, and then you've come back and told the board, we would like to hire these 2, these 5, whatever. The board gives the final or asks any questions along the way. So I'm wondering why it's different this time. Because as Charlie said, we've got some blanks now. I was hoping we'd have close to 5 looked at already.
Okay, so I'm making a note here. Interview 5 more and recommend, okay.
And why don't we do that? I don't know how easy it is for you, Amy. Can we post that to Facebook? 'Cause
That
I
would be
know-
up to you guys, we never have. That's
I know
all.
we never have, but even in the beginning, nobody goes to the webpage. Everybody's on Facebook.
We already have a list of probably 10 applicants without even
Yeah, we've
posting.
been receiving
We've been receiving
applications
applicants all along.
regularly.
Okay. I didn't know if it seemed to,
No, it's,
it's always when you hire 1 or 2, word of mouth gets out there, you get 5 applications and then it dies off.
no, we've been.
We probably
receiving-
have.
We're doing something right because people want to come here.
And unfortunately, we're gonna start having competition now because Liverpool, with their program that they've started, and who knows what other neighboring departments are gonna be starting up now, that it's just hurting everybody overall in the same boat. So,
Okay, so that's it for personnel.
Okay, very good, thank you.
And just a slight side note for that, and it may fall onto the chief side. Somewhere now, well, first of all, our test results came back for the firefighter EMT position, I guess a couple of weeks ago. So you do have a list for that with the county, but that's for full-time. The other thing is, if we were interested in SAFER grants, it's somewhere between now and the end of this month, I think, or end of July, that you apply for them.
Yeah.
My understanding is if you're growing, and we're growing, we've been growing for 2 years, or moving, changing directions to a combo, they look at that favorably, because they see you in dire straits and need the help. So, anybody that seems to be expressing that they're hurting, and they're looking, they're making that transition, that may be a helpful thing for us financially. Because I think they pay, 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years, I think it's 75, 65, 25, I think is the contribution, the Fed contributions for the 3 years.
And they haven't cut that yet in the budget?
But it didn't, what, oh,
state budget.
The federal budget,
Federal
that SAFER
budget.
grant is federal, if I'm correct.
yeah, don't know.
I,
But as long as they're advertising for it, apply to it until they cut it.
Okay. So now we're down to truck maintenance.
Truck maintenance, nothing major. Car 1 had an oil change and repair of his undercarriage skirt that was damaged. That's the only thing I have for truck maintenance.
Do we know when ladder tests, pump tests, and tower inspections are done?
Those were just done recently. I'll get you the date.
Usually we
Right.
you apprise us of it and then
Yeah, no.
let us know if there's any failures.
Yeah, no, so far, I mean, since the last one, I haven't heard of any failures, but I can look up the date and when it's coming.
Well, just curious if they were occurring.
Yep, no, nothing's going on.
Okay. Fire prevention.
Building maintenance.
There we go.
Building maintenance, the AC here at Station 1 had a bad capacitor, that has been repaired. The washer at Station 2 was repaired, and is actually a cheaper repair than what the original quote was.
Amazing.
They found something else wrong with it instead. So that's up and running. Charlie has been working with a roofing company for headquarters.
I've got, you all have copies of what I got. I basically boiled down, made it a little bit easier to read, but the original estimates are attached to them. And like everybody said, it's tough to get people to respond back to you. I did have 3 people with 3 different types of repairs. We've got basic patch repairs to the extreme of a total roof replacement. what I'm looking at is probably proposal number one. Seems to be the best, whereas he's looking at the entire roof on there, going through, working on different things as far as replacing, tightening screws and applying sealant to some pinholes. So there are some pinholes that he was able to locate in the rear of the building that don't seem to have leaks on it yet, but there's definitely some holes back there. Number three was the bottom one on the first page right there, was just basically working over where Amy's area is, just doing some minor repairs to that. So I think that, obviously a little bit more on the first one, but he's looking at the entire roof as opposed to just that one little section.
So if we did that, 5,000, could that come out of the building maintenance budget?
Yes, it could.
You making a motion for number one?
I'll make a motion for number one.
Second.
Mike Chur seconds it. Any more discussion on that? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So moved.
All right, now we gotta move on to, we're still working with the pavement out front. Charlie had some contact information with a engineer.
Yes, so I have had an engineer friend of mine, come over, take a look at it, and told him what the recommendations were, and he had since, and I actually talked with him tonight, gave me another contact person to contact to discuss getting an estimate from him on it. So a little bit more time involved on this. But the recommendation was basically to dig deeper, because just by what they had proposed, it would only last a year or 2 years with the heavy truck traffic that's going over there. So it seems to be a subsurface issue down below. So
That's all I got on building maintenance.
very good, thank you. Fire prevention,
Nothing at this time with the schools, they're all wrapped up.
I sent you two. One was Little Luke's, and I think the YMCA are both looking for stick and spray water, I think.
Okay,
I can get it to you again.
I got it right here, okay. I will pass that on to the department, to the president and vice president, so they can get that out. All right, so let me get that done. Okay. Little Luke's.
all right. So we'll go with fire prevention, old business training cycle.
So I sent out the last revision just this morning, and because of the lateness of getting that out to you, I'm not going to ask for a approval tonight, but I would ask that anybody that has concerns or problems in any area to let me know soon, so we can hopefully get it out to everybody maybe in the next week or so, so you'll have time to review it before we consider approval. Are there any places that people are concerned right now?
Just before hitting it, if you could have your secretary not do this.
Oh, yeah.
And when I'm saying not do this for everybody else, it's the issue date of June 16th. This isn't approved tonight.
Right.
That's right. It's a draft.
It's marked as a draft.
It's a draft.
It's a draft, but that was just expected.
If I put this out on the table, this does not say draft on it.
It's
This
got
one's
a
all-
mark that
Mine
says
does.
draft.
This one doesn't.
Oh, I think you copied, I
But
didn't print
either-
yours, I copied it, and it didn't copy the watermark.
If somebody picks it up off the coffee table, they're gonna think it's in place. When we finally approve it, we can add that date.
Okay,
Okay.
so we'll all go over that again just to make sure that everything looks good on it. I think it does. But we'll just double check, triple check. Okay, new business. So it looks like the NYS MEC resolution to authorize participation for electric and gas.
So NISMAC actually provides the resolution that we need to do, basically for us to be involved in the bid process. So it's all the whereases and therefores, but it's basically that the board wishes to participate in the municipal cooperation to become or remain a participant in the municipal cooperation agreement for energy purposes. So it's basically, I can put these resolutions into the minutes, but it's both to participate in the consortium for electricity and natural gas. And then we also need to authorize that the board is directing Charlie the Priest to sign these agreements so that we can participate in the bidding process.
I so moved.
Okay, do we have a second?
A second.
Charlie.
Any discussion?
That was easy.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? So moved. Anything from the public?
One back to building, this was here,
Water.
was this addressed by Mark? Or this
No.
laundry?
No,
That's old business on, that's my latest estimate for the washer, actually for the, put in the washer.
Well, we're supposed to cover that tonight, or?
No, I just wanted to update you
Okay.
on that. It's just that it's getting expensive to put a washer and dryer anywhere in these buildings. I mean, I'm looking at even between $8,000 and $10,000 to put in a $2,000 washing machine. And I'm about ready to make a scream
My
and
house.
it was, do it ourselves.
do it yourself.
Washboard?
So that's an update.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question and a comment. Last month, Commissioner Harrison brought up about the career staff accountability. That goes along with the volunteers are held accountable for drills, meetings, calls, etc. And if they don't have their accountability, they receive a 45-day letter saying they're in compliance or non-compliance. So where are their true or paid staff being held accountable for their hours?
Do you want to answer that, or you need to answer that?
I can answer that. Are you referring more to training, or
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
are you referring to like the training hours, or?
No, well, that
What's
and
specific as far as accountability are you looking?
like Mark, Commissioner Harrison was saying that we've had shifts go maybe one person, no persons and everything. And you want this department to work as a combination, then you have to have the same work as, you have to have accountability for everybody the same. It can't be this way for the paid staff and this way for the volunteers.
So I think,
If you want them to work together, then it has to be the same right across the board.
So I can speak as far as the notification side of it. It's just, we have some newer faces, and we can easily send a reminder to our staff of when we're not at 2, we need to send out notifications. And I know I've sent them out myself when I've noticed that there isn't people or we're short. We've got a little lax, and I'll address that with Chief Police since we can get it out to the, not address, I will advise him of the concern and we can get it out to the staff. When it comes to the training hours and any type of training, the career staff is held to the state 426 standard, which is the professional firefighters doctrine by New York State. So they have to do 101 hours of training a year. So they're doing, between here, we're documenting training, we do daily training, between 9 and 10 is when we do our normal training. And on top of that, when they are here for drills, they're participating in drills. And then any of their hours from their regular full-time employer also counts towards that 101 hours of training. So I don't know if that 100% answers your question or concern.
Well, the volunteers have the same thing. They have families, they have their work hours, and they have, other obligations to their family, but still, they're held accountable for making their calls or drills, etc. So, I don't know what the
I guess I'm really struggling to delineate. What can you just call a spade a spade? What is it you're trying to call out? Is it because we have open shifts? Is it, I guess I'm trying to just understand the concern.
Well, yes, the open shifts, that we've been having, and they send out messages, yes, the volunteers need to step up, and they do step up.
And nobody's discrediting
But-
that. We appreciate any type of participation.
Have the crew staff, or paid staff, been talked to about doing more hours?
So we can definitely address it with them, that we need to make sure that they're meeting the obligatory that they were when they first signed on, and which has changed. I know some of the staff that started 2 years ago, it was Monday through Friday, 8 to 6, if I remember correctly, and I'm not trying to speak for anybody. So obviously we've evolved from 2 years ago to where we are today. So it's just a reminder, this is the expectation, and that's something I don't mind taking back to Chief Gleason and saying, hey, this is a concern. We'd like to just, kind of remind everybody of this is the expectation and this is what we need. Does that seem like a fair?
Yes. Okay. Any more public comments? Okay. Hearing none, looks like we need an executive session tonight for number H. The usual, yeah. The resume and employment history of an individual which may lead to his or her dismissal. We have a motion to go into executive session. I'll make it. Second?
Second.
Mike Malone, all in favor? Aye.
Do you expect to conduct business?
I don't expect to conduct business. Anybody expect to conduct business? No? No, we don't expect to conduct business. Yeah.